You went to college. You climbed the corporate ladder. You bought the house with the white picket fence, and you've been diligently contributing to your 401k for the last 20 years. But here is the brutal truth that nobody wants to admit at the office Christmas party. Even with a six-figure salary, you feel like you're barely treading water. You're 50 years old. Your back hurts from sitting in a lumbar-supported chair for 10 hours a day, and when you look at your bank account after the mortgage, the property taxes, the health insurance premiums, and the car payments are deducted, there's almost nothing left for the one thing you actually want: freedom. You're not alone. There is a quiet revolution happening right now among American, British, and Australian men in their 40s and 50s. They aren't waiting until 65 to retire because they've realized that 65 is a moving target that the government and the banks keep pushing further away. They are opting out of the system entirely through something called geographic arbitrage. It sounds like a complex financial term, but it's actually the simplest math you'll ever do. It's the process of earning in a strong currency, like the US dollar or the British pound, and spending in a country where that money has 3 to 5 times the purchasing power. It is the ultimate cheat code for the middle class. Imagine for a second that you woke up tomorrow and your monthly expenses were cut by 70%, but your quality of life actually went up. In the United States, if you're living in a major city, you're likely paying $3,000 or $4,000 a month just to keep a roof over your head and the lights on. Then there's the hidden tax of being a professional. The $150 a month gym membership you're too tired to use. The $800 car payment for the SUV that just sits in traffic. And the $2,000 a month in health insurance that still has a $5,000 deductible. You are working 40 hours a week just to service your debt and pay for the privilege of living near a job you've grown to dislike. This is the middle class trap. Geographic arbitrage is the escape hatch. It's why you're seeing 45-year-old managers from Chicago selling their homes, liquidating their assets and moving to places like Portugal, Spain, Thailand, or Mexico. They aren't retiring in the sense that they are sitting on a porch waiting to die. They are retiring from the stress. They are retiring from the rat race while they still have the health and the energy to actually enjoy their lives. Let's look at the brutal math that is driving this migration. If you have $500,000 saved up in the US, you are essentially house poor or one medical emergency away from disaster. In many parts of America, $500,000 won't even buy you a decent condo in a safe neighborhood. But take that same $500,000 and move it to Southeast Asia or Southern Europe. Suddenly, you aren't just surviving, you are wealthy. In a place like Thailand or the Philippines, a luxury 2-bedroom apartment with a view of the ocean and a building gym and pool costs about $800 to $1,200 a month. A world-class dinner for two with drinks costs $30. You can hire someone to clean your house, do your laundry, and cook your meals for less than what you pay for a single cable TV and internet bundle in the States. By moving your life to a different set of coordinates, you've effectively tripled your net worth without working a single extra hour. You've bought back 15 years of your life that you would have otherwise spent in a cubicle. One of the biggest fears keeping men over 40 awake at night is health care. In the US, we are told that we have the best health care in the world, but we also have the most expensive. If you lose your job at 50, you are terrified of the COBRA payments or the insane cost of private insurance. But when you look at countries like Spain or Malaysia, you realize that high-quality modern healthcare doesn't have to cost a fortune. You can walk into a top-tier hospital in Bangkok or Lisbon, see a specialist the same day, and pay for the entire visit out of your pocket for less than the cost of a dinner at a steakhouse back home. The doctors are often Western trained, the facilities are brand new, and the best part is that you aren't fighting with an insurance company for 3 months to get a procedure covered. This removes one of the largest financial weights from your shoulders. When you don't have to worry about a broken leg or a heart scare bankrupting your family, your stress levels plummet. And it's not just about the money, it's about the lifestyle creep that we've all fallen victim to. In the West, we are conditioned to believe that success is a bigger house, a faster car, and a more expensive watch. But in your 40s, something changes. You start to value time more than things. You realize that the $80,000 truck in your driveway doesn't actually make you happy. It just makes you stay at work longer to pay for it. When you move to a place where the culture isn't focused on keeping up with the Joneses, that pressure disappears. In a beach town in Mexico or a village in Portugal, nobody cares what kind of car you drive. They care if you're a good neighbor, if you want to join them for a coffee, and if you're enjoying the sunset. This psychological shift is the most underrated part of geographic arbitrage. You stop being a consumer and you start being a human again. Now, I know what you're thinking. I can't just leave. My family is here, my friends are here, and I don't speak the language. This is where the 2026 reality comes in. The world is smaller than it has ever been. With high-speed satellite internet, you can be in a remote villa in the mountains of Montenegro and still be on a Zoom call with your kids or your business partners in New York. You aren't disappearing. You are just changing your base of operations. Many men in their 40s are using the hybrid model. They work remotely for a Western company or run an online business, earning those strong dollars or pounds, but they spend them in a local economy where they go much further. This is the digital nomad lifestyle, but for adults. It's not about backpacking and staying in hostels. It's about luxury villas, fine dining, and total financial security. Let's talk about the specific destinations that are attracting this new wave of 40-plus professionals. Portugal has been a favorite for years because of its Golden Visa and D7 programs, which make it relatively easy for people with passive income or savings to get residency. The climate is incredible, the food is fresh, and it's one of the safest countries in the world. Then you have Mexico, specifically places like San Miguel de Allende or the Riviera Maya. It's close to home, the culture is vibrant, and the cost of living is a fraction of what it is in California or Texas. In Southeast Asia, Thailand remains the king of value. You can live like royalty in Chiang Mai or Phuket for $2,000 a month. And for those who want a more Western feel with a tropical twist, the Philippines offers incredible islands and a high level of English proficiency, making the transition very easy for Americans and Australians. But why is this happening now? Why is the American dream being exported? Because the math of the 1950s, work 40 years, get a pension, retire, is dead. Pensions don't exist for most of us. Social Security is a question mark, and the cost of living in Western cities has outpaced wage growth for decades. We are the first generation that has to be financial architects of our own lives. We have to look at the global map as a menu. If the city you live in is charging you more than it's providing in value, you are making a bad investment by staying there. If you are paying $5,000 a month for a life that makes you miserable, why are you still paying it? The concept of geographic arbitrage is about taking back the power. It's about realizing that your wealth isn't defined by the number in your retirement account, but by how many years of freedom that number can buy. In San Francisco, $1 million might buy you 10 years of a modest life. In Thailand, that same $1 million buys you 40 years of a luxury life. Which one sounds like a better deal to you? The men who are making this move aren't quitting, they are winning. They are looking at the board and realizing that the game they were told to play is rigged, so they've decided to play a different game on a different board. There is a specific kind of freedom that comes from knowing you don't have to work. When your monthly expenses are so low that your dividends or your small side business covers them entirely, your relationship with work changes. You no longer work because you're afraid of the mortgage company taking your house. You work because you find the project interesting. That is true wealth. Most people wait until they are 70 to find that out, and by then, they are too tired to do anything with it. The 40-plus crowd making the move today is doing it while they can still hike the mountains of Madeira, dive in the Palawan, or explore the historic streets of Seville. The transition isn't always easy, of course. There is paperwork, there are visas, and there is the emotional hurdle of selling your stuff. But ask anyone who has made the move and they will tell you the same thing. I wish I had done it 5 years sooner. They don't miss the 45-minute commute in the rain. They don't miss the property tax bills that arrive every year like a punch to the gut. They don't miss the superficial status games. They miss the things that actually matter, and they realize they can just fly back and visit those things whenever they want because they now have the time and the money to do so. We are living in an era where place is becoming optional. If you are a professional with skills, or if you have managed to save a decent nest egg, you are a global citizen. The borders are opening up for people who bring capital and talent. Countries are competing for you. They want you to come and spend your money in their cafes, rent their apartments, and contribute to their communities. They are offering digital nomad visas, retirement visas, and investment visas specifically designed for people in your exact position. So, as you sit there today, looking at your budget and wondering why you feel so squeezed, ask yourself, is it me or is it where I am? If you took your current net worth and moved it to the other side of the world, would you still be struggling or would you be done? The American dream isn't dead, it just moved. It's waiting for you in a small cafe in Lisbon, on a beach in Koh Samui, or in a colonial town in Mexico. The only thing standing between you and a 20-year head start on retirement is the courage to admit that the path you're on isn't the only one available. You've worked hard for your money. Now, it's time to make your money work hard for you by putting it where it's actually valued. Think about the real cost of your current life. Not just the dollars, but the hours. Every month you spend $5,000 to live in a high-cost city is a month of your life you can never get back. If you could live that same month for $1,500 elsewhere, you are effectively saving $3,500 of your time. Over a year, that's $42,000. Over 10 years, that's nearly $500,000. That is the power of the geographic arbitrage. It's the only way for a regular, hard-working professional to buy time. And in the end, time is the only asset that truly matters. We spend the first half of our lives trading our time for money. The goal of the second half should be to trade that money back for as much time as possible. This movement is growing because the secret is out. The internet has pulled back the curtain on what life is like outside the Western bubble. We used to think that abroad was dangerous or third world. But when you see high-speed trains in Spain, cleaner streets in Tokyo, and better hospitals in Singapore, you start to question the narrative you've been fed. You realize that you've been overpaying for a product, the Western middle-class lifestyle, that is declining in quality while increasing in price. Geographic arbitrage is simply the act of being a smart consumer. It's choosing a better product for a lower price. For the man over 40, this is the ultimate pivot. You've done the heavy lifting. You've built the career. You've raised the kids. Now, you have a choice. You can stay in the harness for another 15 or 20 years, hoping the market doesn't crash and the inflation doesn't eat your savings. Or you can look at the map, find your arbitrage point, and retire while you're still young enough to enjoy the world. The world is big, it's beautiful, and it's surprisingly affordable if you know where to look. The exit sign is right there. All you have to do is walk through it. What would you do if you didn't have to work tomorrow? Not just for a weekend, but forever. Would you learn to sail? Would you finally write that book? Would you spend more time with your parents or your children? Would you just sit and breathe without the weight of a $1 million mortgage pressing on your chest? That life isn't a fantasy. It's a mathematical reality for anyone willing to move their decimal point to a different country. This is why the 40-plus professionals are leaving. They aren't running away from something. They are running to something. They are running toward a life where they are the masters of their own time. They are running toward the new American dream, which isn't about owning a piece of land in a specific zip code, but about owning your own life, no matter where you are in the world. As we move further into 2026, the economic divide is only going to grow. The cost of services, labor, and housing in the West will continue to rise. The squeeze will get tighter. But the beautiful thing about the modern world is that you don't have to stay and be squeezed. You have mobility. You have options. You have the ability to arbitrage your life. This isn't just a trend. It's the future of how the smart middle class will survive and thrive. Don't let the fear of the unknown keep you in a known that is slowly draining you dry. Take a look at the numbers, look at the destinations, and ask yourself the most important question of your 40s. What am I waiting for? The era of the location-dependent professional is ending. The era of the global arbitrager has begun. Whether it's the sun-drenched coast of Portugal, the lush mountains of Panama, or the vibrant streets of Kuala Lumpur, your enough is closer than you think. You just have to be willing to change your perspective to see it. Your 40s are the perfect time for this transition. You have enough experience to know what you want, enough money to make it happen, and enough life left to make it meaningful. The math is brutal in the US, but it's beautiful somewhere else. It's time to stop being a victim of the middle-class trap and start being the architect of your own freedom. The world is waiting, and it's a lot more affordable than you've been led to believe. So, what's the next step? It starts with a spreadsheet. Not the kind your boss wants to see, but the one for your own life. List your expenses. List your assets. Then, look at the cost of living in Lisbon, Medellin, or Bangkok. See the gap. That gap is your freedom. That gap is the years of your life you can buy back. Once you see the numbers, you can't unsee them. And once you realize that you've already won the game, you'll stop trying to play it by the old rules. You are Clarence Capital, and this is your path to real, lasting wealth. It's not about having more. It's about needing less and living more. Welcome to the world of geographic arbitrage. If you're ready to stop trading your life for a paycheck that barely covers your costs, it's time to start looking at the map. Start researching the visa programs. Start looking at the real estate prices in countries that value your presence. Talk to the people who have already made the jump. You'll find that they aren't special. They just realize that the American dream is a global product now, and they went where the value was highest. You can do the same. Your second act is waiting for you, and it's going to be much better than the first one because this time You're the one in control. That was your friend Clarence Capital. Don't forget like this video and subscribe to the channel. Check out the next video. Your money is dying. Here is the antidote. Take care of yourself, your finances, and most importantly, your time. Good luck.